Himachal is breaking, and there's barely anyone talking about it. But there's one voice that refuses to stay quiet. Have you seen this?
महादेव में रोपवे की बात हो रही है। भगवान महादेव ने 4 बार वहाँ पे मना कर दिया है।
Or this?
Don't report disasters like the weather. Report the system that let it happen.
And these are just a few. While most people his age are busy building a life, he's asking uncomfortable questions.
जब जाने चली जाती हैं, उसके बाद अप्रिशिएट करते हैं कि वाह कितना अच्छा एफर्ट हुआ।
Why? Is it just for social media noise? Is it a way to be seen? Or is there something deeper, something real? Because sometimes silence is the real problem. I had all these questions when I met him in Chandigarh. And this conversation goes beyond opinions.
If democracy doesn't live inside our classrooms, it cannot survive outside.
It challenges how we think about Himachal, politics, and responsibility. And if you're a Himachali, don't miss it. That's what a voice with responsibility looks like, so you can take a look at
You've
it.
been too kind.
Yeah.
It is out of the question why I spoke about it. I believe a lot of people are suffering in silence.
Is it to grab attention? Because you're doing this online, right? Why this platform?
So many Himachali people, young people on these platforms, they don't have an opinion.
What made you pick these up?
And when you see things go wrong, when you see people dying, when you see the state being sold off, it's such a pertinent matter at that point of time. If you're not speaking about, you're doing something which is essentially criminal.
Where do you want to head with this?
It's not just attention grabbing. So we were on ground, we were mobilizing, we were protesting.
What is leading to all of this? I mean, it's quite a complex personality that I'm sitting with today.
The most beautiful part of being human, have the life that you want to live. If that takes you in multiple directions, so be it. If that makes you a jack of all artistic trades, then
man.
so be it.
Yeah. Well, the JOAT is meeting another JOAT, it seems, here. So you're a teacher, poet, you're a singer, you like reading. And by the way, you're also doing this PhD on the side, is what you're saying, yeah.
I'm just a dilettante who's trying to be a renaissance man.
अरे भाई, ये heavy होने वाला है, मुझे लग रहा है episode हमारा आज.
Nobody really had to think about our safety because
Yeah.
the village was raising us. That's concerning about Himachal.
Yeah.
In Himachal, to the contrary, we have a highly literate population which has nothing to do. Companies that develop are taking shortcuts which they must never take in the Himalayas. When the local people have not consented to that form of development, to chop the trees
So
down.
for the people who don't know, what exactly was happening in Bijli, Mahadev?
जहाँ भी देश में youth politics या student politics बंद हुई है, either the sons and daughters of politicians have taken over, या जो ठेकेदार और contractors हैं और businessmen हैं बड़े, उन्होंने take over किया है. यहाँ student elections के process में violence हो जाती है. अरे भाई साहब, violence तो देश भर में हो जा रही है. लोकसभा चुनाव में ट्रिपल हो रही है, तो आप उसको भी बंद कर देंगे. You realize कि ये जो आपके यहाँ पे कुछ प्रोफेसर बैठे हैं, कुछ अफसर बैठे हैं, ये तानाशाह नहीं है. They had to fire the professor. The state of affairs is abysmal. I'd rather leave active politics than become something which I'm criticizing. All these things are not some lofty ideals which cannot be achieved.
Wake up is what you're saying.
Wake up, smell the coffee.
If you do get into politics one day, do you have a party in mind? You getting a seat at the table for policy drafting, no?
See, I don't protest for a seat at the policy table.
Flash floods.
How many people did we lose this time around?
Yeah, a lot.
I think it was more than 300.
You're so close to Himachal's politics, so I'm going to put you on a spot and ask you, out of the current politicians, who will be the best? 2027. Let's hear it from a youth leader now. Have a pokey question, you know. I'm like a bada bhai also for you. What's the plan for future? Marriage, life? Divyansh is on the JOAAT-Cast. Welcome.
Thank
right?
you.
The reason I kind of reached out to you is because when I see my Himachal, I see that there is a lot of devastation being caused. A lot of people are unable to even make ends meet. And I feel about it. I think about those things. I think about the floods and how much devastation they are causing. I rant about it. And then that's it for me, right? I have been following you for quite some time from your Instagram handle. So I want to firstly understand, what is it that led you to start this and to talk about it and to kind of make people understand these issues?
What led me to think about it or to talk about it was nothing more than a deep-set, deep-rooted love for my home. I believe anybody who's out of the Himalayas never really leaves the place.
Yeah.
It is out of the question why I spoke about it. In fact, I think a lot more people need to speak up about it. And in our state, I believe a lot of people are suffering in silence. We are the happiest state in the country, yes. But then again, we suffer. We have a lot of resilience, but resilience does not mean that we stay silent when things are preventable, when lives can be saved. when deaths can be avoided. And that was primarily the reason. It came from a deep love for my home, and that has carried me forward through my life.
Is it to grab attention? Because you're doing this online, right? Why this platform?
It is the need of the hour. In Himachal, we have media houses, but not a lot of conventional media in the sense that you can go on a panel, debate, or discuss about things. But then again, there are so many Himachali people, young people on these platforms who want to know what is happening in their state, how bad it is, but they're getting not. They don't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the data, or they don't know what is happening. The worst thing that can happen in governance is a lack of transparency. And now when you don't get a look into the system can do anything. It wasn't for attention. I already had a lot of it. That was
From?
cheeky. That was cheeky.
Yeah, I know. From attention from?
General people.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So
So you're like a loved leader already, is what you're saying. I still didn't get an answer for why did you pick it up? Because everybody can if they want, right? But nobody is. Yeah. So that's where my question's stemming from. Why is it that you've picked this issue up, and not just one issue, but you're talking about 118. You're talking about the landslides, the excessive development in the Himalayas. You're picking up very, very relevant issues. What made you pick these up and put them out for the people to understand?
And when you see things go wrong, when you see people dying, when you see the state being sold off, when you see lives at stake, it's such a pertinent matter at that point of time. If you're not speaking about it and you have the ability to speak about it and you have the audience for it, you're doing something which is essentially criminal. There's this poem by some writer which said, first they came for the socialists, and then I did not speak because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak because I was not a Jew. And then they came for me, and then there was nobody left to speak for me. So this is an essential exercise in any democracy, and I believe the people of Himachal have been silent for way too long. Silently suffering and silently smiling, but silent nonetheless.
So I'm sure you get a lot of different kinds of comments on your social media platforms, especially Instagram, right? Some people on your social media might even say that this is just to grab attention of people because you're kind of picking up the hottest topic that's there at any point in time and talking about it, isn't it?
People might say what they want to say about it, but what needs to be spoken about must be spoken about. And the hottest topics of the day are there for a reason. If Section 118 is being diluted and there are attempts to dilute it, and then the government is always shying away from the fact that they're doing anything to Section 118, or if the RDG is being cut off and then there are political blame games about it. If we don't speak about it, again, it's criminal. And then if it grabs attention, then the purpose of getting a message across, in the process, if it grabs attention, then of course you need that attention. People need to be attentive of these issues.
No, that's true. But where do you want to head with this? I mean, see, in a way, for the lack of a better word, this may be a rant on social media, and a lot of people might just perceive it at that, right? But where do you think this is taking you? Which direction is it political ambitions that it's taking you towards, or is it that you want to do something for the state and that's why you've kind of...
I want to do something for the state, and to do something for the state, you must have be part of an active political life. The fact that every action that you take has some sort of politics involved. You can't even buy your bread without the politics of it, without the GST and the compensations and the regimes. So to change the destiny of the state, you must take a political direction, and the youth of the state must be very politically aware. And that is what we're heading towards. We're making the youth politically aware. And it's not just attention grabbing. So for instance, during the Bijli Mahadev thing, we were on ground, we were mobilizing, we were protesting.
When you say we, who is this we?
Young people, young voices from Himachal Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh and outside, students, people who just want to do something for their state. And that is the we in this, that is the collective.
Nice. So Is there an organization like Divyansh Thakur organization that you're kind of planning to?
We have a Manch, we have Himachal Raksha Manch.
Himachal Raksha Manch.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that is the banner that we organized under. We've been talking about the fragile ecology, the culture in the state of Himachal Pradesh, and that is what we're going to take forward for now.
Yeah, that's nice. I also saw you do some poetry, and I'm aware that you're also a songwriter. Yeah, how is this? What is leading to all of this? I mean, it's quite a complex personality that I'm sitting with today, and a brilliant one at that. So, where does the poetry come from?
You know what they say about poetry? It comes through you,
Yeah,
not from you. It just so happens that you're sitting there and something strikes in the middle of the night, and then you're there writing. So I think there's something that makes you write poetry, and it's not you, never you. It just comes through you. I don't know. I've been very fond of. We were in a terrible band in school. We had a terrible band in school. Ande Tomater sab padhte the. Yeah. We've done
That
that.
bad?
Done and dusted. That bad. So
what would you sing?
the metal. It was
Rock
yeah,
metal.
yeah, rock metal.
Hey, nice.
We were outliers at that point of time.
Yeah.
In Hamirpur.
In
Imagine
Hamirpur.
that. Growing up, music was a very big part, and poetry. I read a lot, and that has shaped me in a manner that nothing else could have. I've seen experiences which are far wider than anything I could have experienced on my own. I've read about them, related to them, maybe at points recited them. And that is what has shaped me. And I don't think if you take that out, if you take that facet of my personality away, then I'm half the person I would have been. People talk about it, and people say that to be a specialist is really important in today's day and age, in today's economy.
Yeah.
The most beautiful part of being human is to have varied interests, to do the things that you want to do, to love the things that you want to love, to have the life that you want to live. And if that takes you in multiple directions, so be it. If that makes you a jack of all artistic trades,
Yeah,
then
man.
so be it.
Yeah. Well, the JOAAT is meeting another JOAAT, it seems here. So, what are the other interests then?
I tend to read a lot.
Yeah.
I read a lot of prose. So currently I'm reading this book by Anthony Bourdain. It's called Kitchen Confidential. To write and read a lot of poetry. I translate
Yeah.
poetry. Also write music. I'm doing a PhD as a hobby.
Okay.
And pursuing politics actively. So
You're doing
that's
PhD
that.
as a hobby. Wow.
I think that's also a part of the portfolio.
Brilliant, man. So far, you've never worked anywhere, yeah?
I've worked, I teach.
You teach.
In the PhD, I'm required to teach.
Yeah.
So I teach.
How many hours a day?
It works 8 hours a week, 8 to 9 hours a week.
89 hours. Okay. This is like college students, yeah?
This is bachelor's and master's student in university. So I teach. That's a part of the residency.
So you're a teacher, a poet, you're a singer, you like reading. And by the way, you're also doing this PhD on the side, is what you're saying, yeah? Perfect JOAAT. JOAAT X Divyansh.
I'm just a dilettante who's trying to be a renaissance man.
अरे भाई ये heavy होने वाला है मुझे लग रहा है episode हमारा आज with a lot of poetry and prose, and there's a contradiction. You're doing a PhD. You're becoming a specialist of one specific issue that you might have picked up for your PhD, and you're diving so deep into it, trying to be a specialist. Isn't that like conflicting?
No, that's not conflicting at all. The point of a PhD is to push the barriers of knowledge and to realize, to find out new perspectives or new thoughts or new theories about the knowledge domains where people haven't ventured yet. So it's an explorer's tendency at that.
Yeah.
To go to places where people haven't been.
Is that the right word for you, explorer?
Maybe.
है ना?
Yeah.
You're not the JOAT yet. Because, there are some other things that the JOAT does. You didn't mention fitness-wise any of the hobbies.
Fitness,
Do you have any? Yeah.
I do. I used to play football. Now I run. The run is high is great, and I hit the gym as frequently as I can, given the life of travel. But again, I think a lot is lacking at that forefront yet.
Yeah. And the organization that you mentioned, Himachal Raksha Manch. So what was the thought behind it?
A lot of things were going wrong in Himachal Pradesh. A lot of things were going wrong at a particular point of time, and we heard no voices. We heard maybe a whisper here or a whisper there, but nobody was really holding the people in power accountable for the things that they were doing wrong. And Himachal Raksha Manch just happened to be a platform where a lot of these young people could come together and speak truth to power and hold those people accountable.
How many people are part of this organization?
I think it's more than 200 at this point.
They are volunteers.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Firstly, thinking about anything which is so important but is not spoken about much, and then kind of creating an organization is, to my head, the leap that you've taken so strongly at a very, very young age. I will not call it tender, but but at a very young age, yeah. So kudos to you. You mentioned a little bit about your childhood, right? You had this fascination towards music. Where was this childhood, and how was it?
It was in Hamirpur.
Yeah.
And it was the most beautiful thing, the most beautiful childhood you can have. It's left such a great impression in my mind. The thing that I was telling you about, that once you can leave the Himalayas will
can't.
never leave you.
Correct.
I grew up like any other kid in Hamirpur Wood. I went to school in a local school where my mother used to teach. It was Him Academy Public School. And my father was a lawyer at the district court, middle class upbringing. It was so safe, so secure. You wouldn't know, like you could go to any house in the mohalla and you'd get food to eat.
Yeah, I know.
And they say it takes a village to raise a child. And we were literally raised by the village. And I don't see it happen these days. And that's so sad. Kids don't go out in groups of 5 or 10. They don't walk to schools. They have to take buses now. People have to think about their safety. Nobody really had to think about our safety because the village was raising us. And now that's concerning about Himachal.
We have this chowki
Hmm.
in Mandi, generally. Our old house, it had a chowki, right? And in kind of maybe 2 rooms, one family would probably be getting sustained when we were growing up. Everywhere we had life. One of the other problem or reason because of which you don't see this now is probably people moving out.
Absolutely.
Because our chowki is not a chowki anymore. It doesn't have people. Yeah, half of it is ruins and half of it is newly constructed. So I think we've grown apart from those times.
Who sustains the culture?
Yeah.
It's the young who sustain the culture. When the young are forced to leave and the choices are between exploitation and exile, where does the culture come from? And it's much worse in Uttarakhand than it is in Himachal. Himachal is very salvageable. Himachal, there's a lot of scope, there's an upside. But if you see the case in Uttarakhand, because of the developmental model that they've taken, development is restricted to 3 districts in the plains. And there are more than 300 ghost villages in Uttarakhand. Entire villages have been abandoned. People have sold their lands, maybe not, moved out to plains. There are no hospitals. There is no education.
Yeah.
In Himachal, to the contrary, we have a highly literate population, which has nothing to do. And again, the idea that Himachal Pradesh was created on, the idea of Dr. Y.S. Parmar was that this will not be a plain-centric development. This will be very different. This will be where people will get to live their lives with dignity. And that is why the entire apple revolution happened in Himachal. That is why people of the Shimla Hills get to come back to a place and then they have their farms and they go to their orchards and they can come back and live with family. But what about the lower districts then? What about Mandi is completely empty. Your district, there's nobody, barely any youth in Mandi. Everybody from the city has gone out to work. Maybe to Delhi, maybe to Bangalore, maybe overseas.
So true.
But nobody I grew up with, nobody I was in school with, barely anybody is in the city. So that's terrible. Who holds the culture then?
In your opinion, because you speak about it so passionately, do you think just the speaking and making people aware is sufficient? Is that where you want to stop?
It is not. It is not at all. But it is a start. It is better than not doing anything at all.
True.
And then again, there are things that can be done. There are ideas and models and policies. There are countries which are which have completely mountainous terrain and they're doing wonders. The idea of industry that we have, that we need to have a population which is sustained by pharmaceutical industry, for example, a polluting manufacturing industry, is not the idea of development which is ideal for the hills. Our population is highly literate. We need a service-based economy. We need people working from the hills. I think the internal migration to Himachal Pradesh is the second highest in the country after Delhi, if I'm not wrong. People are already coming into Himachal to work, to live, because the air is so pure and the views so serene and the life so beautiful, and yet our own people are being forced to leave.
Yeah.
Of course there's a problem there, and of course that can be addressed. People need to be looking into the matter through a policy perspective. You need policy people on it, but that you can do at scale when the government is involved, when there's political will. You and I can influence the decision making when we demand for it. If we don't demand for it, of course they're not going to give it to us.
So Himachal Raksha Manch, how does it help in building this?
Himachal Raksha Manch is continuously evolving as a forum for young people, for educated people to come together and to voice their opinion about what is going wrong with the state and
That's
how
step
to fix
one,
it.
opinion.
And how to fix it. And then essentially we're putting the voices out, we're mobilizing, and we're telling them that this is where we're going wrong, this is what needs to be fixed, and this, if you don't fix it, then this is what the youth, the coming generations think about it. Because the political future of Himachal is going to be shaped by these very people. And if you don't listen to them, who do you listen to?
I've understood you're growing up and wanting to be a JOAT. Yeah, long way to go.
That's a very nice way to plug, no?
Yeah, I am the jack of all artistic trades.
Yeah.
Somewhere or the other, I feel that you've, in a way, then found your calling. Yeah. How have these skills that you've gained over a period of time helped you in building it?
I think the process for a generalist is a bit more, it is longer. You take times to pick up skills because you've sampled so many, you've dropped more than people have picked up. You've dropped more skill sets than people have picked up. But then again, it shapes your worldview when you think about the world in different systems. So for instance, there are multiple worldviews. So for instance, evolution is one worldview, is a system, thermodynamics is one, then sociological systems are one, literature is one. And when you have all these angles to approach life, it just completely changes your perspective. And the future is, because of AI coming in and being able to, they used to say that artificial intelligence will take blue collar jobs and whatnot.
Yeah.
It is actually taking white collar jobs. Now you'll be, the most important skill will be decision making. And now because of all the breadth of what you've sampled, I think your decision making becomes that much better. So I think that's the direction the world's going to go in,
And
it's
that's
going
what
to
you've
be,
taken.
and that's going to be a great place for you and I.
Yes, hopefully. Okay, I have created a game for you, okay? So I want to kind of delve into your thought processes and talk a little bit more about governance in this section.
Okay,
Yeah?
okay.
Ready for that? So I'm going to give you a few blanks and you've got to fill the blank. And you don't have to think much about it, okay? First one is development without ecology is.
Disaster.
Yeah?
Development without ecology is disaster. If you do not consider the local terrain, if you do not consider the ecological constraints, then you're essentially creating disaster, which is what is happening in Himachal and Uttarakhand right now.
Yeah.
We're not figuring in for ecology. We're just building those roads, those goddamn roads, like we're building those in the plains, and we're raising entire mountains to the ground. We're
Penetrating them, making tunnels.
Yeah. Tunnels are supposed to be a safer option, but you're not making them right. There's a story in the Shimla Hills that a British officer committed suicide because the tunnel didn't go out exactly as planned. So I think we're lacking majorly in accountability, and the contractors and the engineers who are making it, we have like geological assessment data and whatnot. We're doing an environmental impact assessment, but what we see on the ground is completely different. We're making those reports in air-conditioned rooms, and unfortunately, we're making them with ChatGPT or Gemini at this point of time.
So you think enough surveys are not happening before the decision making?
Surveys are, but then the whole accountability process is being avoided. The geologists know that this part of the mountains is fragile. They know that construction should not take place, or perhaps these safety measures should be taken. But to cut costs in the hills, all these contractors and all these companies that develop are taking shortcuts which they must never take in the Himalayas. The Himalayas are no joke.
Yeah, and Himalayas are speaking back.
They are.
Yeah, I think Mandi was a hugely impacted
Yeah.
district
The cloud
in
bursts.
2025.
Yeah. And,
And
23.
Yeah, and 23 also. And it's hitting closer to the main town now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not. When we were growing up, we used to think it's happening somewhere in a remote village. Now, in 25, it happened very close to the town. I don't know whether it's the expansion of the town as well that's kind of contributing, because a lot of people are building in dangerous areas as well.
Yeah, they are. The expansion of a town has never been a problem in regions. In other mountainous regions, Japan has done really well in mountainous regions. Switzerland has done really well. But the development that we're doing is forced. It's not sustainable. There's not enough planning and not enough. There's a lot of red tape, yes, but there's not enough where it actually is required, where safety and assessment is required. And of course, in the Himalayas, you can't take those risks. You cannot. These are young, fragile mountains. We're sitting on earthquake zone 4, 5, 6. This is behind the beauty of the Himalayas is a very, very fragile mountain ecology. And if we toy with it, this is what's going to happen. The people, this is extractive. The development that happens without ecology is extractive.
Yeah.
These companies from outside will come in, they will build, and they will go away because they do not have to face the consequences.
Yeah.
You and I will have to face the consequences of their actions.
And I think
The hills will collapse on us.
True. And I think one of the places where I've really seen the people standing up was when the Bijli Mahadev,
The
a ropeway
Yeah.
in Bijli
Yeah,
Mahadev, right? And I think one of the places where really people have impacted and made sure that the government changed their decision was that place. You spoke about that also, right?
Yeah. We were instrumental in organizing a protest here in Chandigarh as well. And we were involved in Kulu as well. But the fact of the matter is that ropeways are supposed to be the safest way to... They're safer than roads, because roads involve a lot more cutting. They're supposed to be that way. So the government has done away with a lot of environmental requirements. And that is where these people are exploiting it. And more than the ecological aspect of it, when the local people have not consented to that form of development, without their consent, you're going ahead to cut a religious place, to chop the trees
So
down.
for the people who don't know, what exactly was happening in Bijli Mahadev?
So in Bijli Mahadev is a temple which is revered by the people of the Kulu Valley. And what was happening in Bijli Mahadev was that they were building a ropeway directly to Bijli Mahadev, and it is usually a small it's a small trek to Bijli Mahadev otherwise. And for the sake of convenience of tourists, it was being built. And then again, the local devta, as they do in Himachal, the local devta through his Devvani said that we do not need any ropeway here, and let me be in peace. So when the deity himself has ordered that he needs to be in peace, and the people that can walk to that place need to walk to that place, and the locals do not want that development, why are you forcing it on us? The fact is that this also is our faith, and let us practice our faith on our lines, on our grounds. No, you're not going to tell us how to practice our faith. You're not going to tell us that this is convenience. We are going to decide. Our gods are going to decide. Our deities will decide. We will bear the brunt of it. You will not.
True. And that's one place where really that impact of social media and people coming on ground and stopping. I saw videos of people hugging trees when they were trying to raise them. Still, a lot of trees have been raised in the Kulu Valley, despite of all the protests, despite of the deity not asking for it. And that's the worst thing still, because by the time the people came together, a lot of the cutting and chopping down had already happened in the valley. Next statement that you have to fill in, okay? Youth politics lacks.
Youth politics lacks state support at this point of time. Throughout the country, what we've seen is...
State support?
Yeah, state support.
Yeah. You mean government or?
The state apparatus, as in the political system of the state. The grass roots of democracy has always been educational institutions. It's the first step to democracy. It's the first step you take when you venture on the democratic process, and that is where the state has dismantled all these youth political outfits and organizations throughout the country. You see that starting to happen in Punjab in the early 70s. You see that happening in Maharashtra. You see that happening in a lot of South Indian states. In fact, very few. It happened in Himachal in 2013 when the Congress government at the time stopped the Himachal Pradesh University election process. And अभी कुछ दिन पहले विधानसभा में बात हो रही थी कि क्या इलेक्शंस करवाने चाहिए एचपी यूनिवर्सिटी में. एंड कांग्रेस के कई विधायकों ने ये कहा कि जेपी नड्डा जी के साथ के छात्र नेता आज फोटोग्राफर हैं, जबकि कांग्रेस के खुद के चीफ मिनिस्टर सुखविंदर सिंह सुक्खू जी उसी स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स से उसी यूनिवर्सिटी से निकले हैं, और जेपी नड्डा जी भी उसी यूनिवर्सिटी से निकले हैं. द पॉइंट इज दैट दे डोंट वांट रिप्लेसमेंट. The point is that people want their children, the people in power are using power as their personal fiefdoms.
So you think it's more of following the dynastic politics? That's what you're basically saying, right? That's what's happening in Himachal or overall in India?
It is a trend because when the youth get involved in the political process, they have knowledge about how it works. They form their opinions, they form their viewpoints, and that kind of a thing is really important. And now when you take that out of the equation, you can just tell them what you want to tell them. You can have your propaganda working for you to a population that is not so politically exposed. You're not letting them organize to get to a point where they can voice their opinions, so that it works as a personal fiefdom of sorts. It works as a personal dominion कि मैं आज नेता बन गया. अब कोई और नेता जो आवाज उठाए, कोई युवा, कोई यूनिवर्सिटीज से जहां से हिस्टोरिकली इतने वक्त में देश के नेता आए हैं, कोई भी नेता ना आ पाए ताकि मेरा बेटा ही अब ये टेक ओवर करे और ये खानदानी काम हो जाए. जहां भी देश में यूथ पॉलिटिक्स या स्टूडेंट पॉलिटिक्स बंद हुई है, either the sons and daughters of politicians have taken over, या जो ठेकेदार और कॉन्ट्रैक्टर्स हैं और बिजनेसमैन हैं बड़े, उन्होंने टेक ओवर किया है, which is essentially what is happening in Himachal Pradesh at this point.
Yeah. I recently sat with Shri Jairam Thakur. He's come through the same system of
He has.
university, and that's where he in fact said that he found his calling when he went to college, and he struggled to reach college, but when he did, that's where he found his calling, to exactly take that leap of getting into seva, as he called it, and to serve the people of Himachal. If you haven't watched that episode, it's there on the channel, so I'll put the link over here and you can actually go ahead and watch it.
In fact, a lot of people देश भर में, अरुण जेटली जी दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी स्टूडेंट यूनियन के प्रेसिडेंट थे, नितिन गडकरी जी प्रेसिडेंशियल कैंडिडेट थे, यूनिवर्सिटी में इलेक्शन हार गए थे. Everybody who was in student politics became the foremost leader in the country. Sushma Swaraj ji was very active at Punjab University student politics. Himachal Pradesh में भी आप देख लें, the majority of the leaders who are not contractors or dynasts have been there through a university system.
Correct.
तो ये एक प्रोसेस है. एंड किस चीज़ पे ये कहा जा रहा है कि स्टूडेंट इलेक्शंस इसलिए बंद किए जा रहे हैं क्योंकि बच्चे वहाँ पे पढ़ने जाते हैं, या बच्चे वहाँ पे यहाँ स्टूडेंट इलेक्शंस के प्रोसेस में वायलेंस हो जाती है. अरे भाई साहब, वायलेंस तो देश भर में हो जा रही है. लोकसभा चुनाव में ट्रिपल हो रही है, तो आप उसको भी बंद कर देंगे. द आर्ग्यूमेंट इज कि ये प्रोसेस एफिशिएंट नहीं है. डेमोक्रेसी वाज नेवर मेंट टू बी एफिशिएंट. डेमोक्रेसी इन इटसेल्फ बहुत मेसी प्रोसेस है. रादर देन कि आप उस मेसी प्रोसेस को अपने आप अप्रिशिएट करें कि ये मेसी प्रोसेस है, बट दिस इज व्हाट इट इज, आप क्या कह रहे हैं कि फॉर द सेक ऑफ एफिशिएंसी हम इस प्रोसेस को ही हटा देते हैं सबसे छोटे लेवल पे जहां वो शुरू होती है. The amount of money, the amount of corruption, the amount of muscle that is used in larger politics is perhaps 1,000 times worse. पर आप selectively जहां पे आपके लिए आसान है क्रश करना डेमोक्रेसी को, वहां क्रश कर रहे हैं. एंड एक इटली में कहावत थी ये एफिशिएंसी को लेके. इटली में तब मुसोलिनी का राज था, फाशीवाद का राज था और डिक्टेटरशिप थी. तो कहते थे कि वाह यार, डिक्टेटरशिप में तो कितना अच्छा हो गया है काम की जो ट्रेन्स इटली में देर से चलती थी, नाउ द ट्रेन्स आर ऑन टाइम. कितना एफिशिएंट काम है. तो एक बड़ा इस चीज़ पे जुमला हुआ था कि अगर आपको मिलान से रोम जाना है, आप जब मिलान से रोम की तरफ को चलेंगे, हाँ आप वक्त पे पहुंच जाएंगे, आपके माँ को शायद या पिता को शायद मार दिया जाएगा डिक्टेटर द्वारा, पर ट्रेन्स टाइम पे पहुंच जाएंगी. तो एफिशिएंसी एक टोटलिटेरियन आर्ग्यूमेंट है इस चीज में आप डेमोक्रेसी एक मेसी प्रोसेस है, इसको एम्ब्रेस करने के बजाय आप खत्म करना चाह रहे हैं, एंड दैट इज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन हिमाचल प्रदेश एज वेल.
So student politics की तरफ थोड़ा ध्यान दीजिए. If any of the politicians are watching this JOAAT-Cast, this is a message from one of the, hopefully a youth leader for future. I think that's it's important. I have been through that process. It
In
teaches
Mandi
you a
College?
lot. Yeah, in Mandi College.
Hmm.
And it teaches you a lot. I mean, सबसे ज़्यादा मुझे लगता है ये सिखाता है कि in a way it's also a freedom of expression that the students get, because उनको ये समझ में आता है कि practically होता कैसे है.
Hmm.
The whole process of elections, the whole campaigning, it gives a different gamut of experience to the students as well.
Hmm.
Right? When you have to speak in public, when you have to convince people to do anything for that matter, I think it does help.
इट डज, पर उससे भी ज्यादा इट गिव्स यू अ स्पाइन.
Hmm.
उससे भी ज्यादा यू रियलाइज कि ये जो आपके यहाँ पे कुछ प्रोफेसर बैठे हैं, कुछ अफसर बैठे हैं, ये तानाशाह नहीं है. जब काफ़ी जगह ये देखा जाता है यूनिवर्सिटी सिस्टम्स में कि सिस्टमैटिकली कुछ प्रोफेसर्स किसी रीजन से, किसी कास्ट ग्रुप से आए हुए लोगों को के अगेंस्ट डिस्क्रिमिनेट करते हैं. बहुत यूनिवर्सिटी में देश भर में आपने सुना होगा होता है. बट व्हेन द स्टूडेंट्स आर ऑर्गेनाइज्ड दे कैन चूज टू फाइट बैक. इट हैपन्स अ लॉट ऑफ द टाइम्स इन पंजाब यूनिवर्सिटी एज वेल. एक प्रोफेसर harassed a student, and then the students organized and they had to fire the professor. उन्हें निकाला गया उनकी नौकरी से बिकॉज उन्होंने ये किया था. अदरवाइज a lot of these things get lost in the system. एक युवा जो कॉलेज जा रहा है पढ़ने के लिए, वो कॉलेज जा रहा है अपनी पर्सनालिटी को शेप करने के लिए, वो सिस्टमैटिक डिस्क्रिमिनेशन फेस कर रहा है, और ये एक इम्बैलेंस ऑफ पावर है. जब वो युवा ऑर्गेनाइज्ड है, जब उसे पता है कि they have certain rights in this country and they can exercise those rights, why should they not be allowed to?
And they are also in a way voting, because most people by the time they reach college, that's probably their
Yeah.
first election
Yeah.
experience and the first time they vote.
The
Yeah,
voting age is 18.
correct. Himachal's biggest strength is
It's people, it's culture,
yeah,
its roots, its traditions, and its gods.
brilliant. Yeah, and right now today is Shivratri. I'm sitting with Divyansh here on Shivratri day.
I happen to be blessed by the Lord.
Is
to be
it?
sitting here.
What does your
By
name
Lord
mean?
Shiva.
Yeah,
What?
your name has a relationship.
My
Shivji?
name is Divyansh. It's divine, a piece of the divine,
Yeah.
divine essence, or
Yeah.
maybe
Nothing to do with Shivratri.
nothing to do with the entire divinity. It does. But
But yeah, on this Shivratri day, in fact, I'm in Chandigarh, and that's where I'm meeting this amazing Punjab University leader. And hopefully, this is the kind of leaders we should get for future in Himachal as well. I'll do one more. Leadership requires you have to fill in this blank.
courage,
Yeah?
persistence, and a spine.
Yeah, nice. I think the game also is kind of making me understand you a little more. Let's come to what can we do, as younger people. Not me, I'm considering you.
No, you're still young.
Yeah.
You got an amazing airline.
Oh, yeah. That helps. But what can we do to be constructive about it too? How can we do that?
We need to think about our state first. We need to be able to speak without fear of governments, of persecution. We need to be able to do that freely. And recently I have seen a lot more voices in Himachal come up and speak about it.
Yeah.
You are now speaking about it, and
Yeah.
that's brilliant. But we need a lot more people to demand for what they want. Nobody is going to give you anything for free unless you ask for it. And that is the most important part of a democracy. I believe we're so caught up in our lives, and rightly so, because lives are messy, they're tiring, and a job is tiring and everything else, and you can't always be out on the line. But whatever little way you can contribute, you can organize, you can speak about it, you can volunteer, you can ask questions to power, or maybe just talk to your friends about it. That will change the perception little by little through a butterfly effect of sorts. And that is what is needed. Any little action greater than yourself, not for yourself but for your state, would be what is required at the moment.
So you're saying criticizing is fine, and then have a constructive solution on what your suggestion would be as well, yeah?
Have a constructive solution, yes, but constructive criticism is really important, yes, but it is the job of the government to figure out a policy. If there is a criticism, it is the wrong thought process to think if you're coming up with a criticism of something, if something is wrong in the state. You are not a policy expert. You are somebody who's figured out that something is going wrong in the state. It is not your job to come up with solutions.
Yeah,
you don't have the wherewithal or the resources to come up with the solutions. It is your job to talk about it, to voice your concerns. It is the state's job to fix it. It is the state's job to figure out a solution, to pull in policy people from around the world and to figure out how do we get it done.
Yeah.
It is essentially the part of being a minister or the chief minister or to lead a state is to figure it out.
Yeah.
And to balance all these concerns. The fact of the matter is that we put all this responsibility on ourselves that we've got to figure out a solution. We've got to.
But-
yes. But
Yeah.
since it is the job of the people, the first thing...
Elected people,
Yeah.
you mean. Right. So you do aspire to kind of get into politics someday. And I'll take you 10 years ahead, okay? Let's say you are there now. Yeah. So if you do join the mainstream politics, what will you do to avoid becoming what you're critiquing today?
I can never become what I critique today because what I critique, the state of affairs, is abysmal. I'd rather leave active politics than become something which I'm criticizing today.
You know, what will
That
you
will never
do?
happen.
So what will you do differently? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because see, you even being at the helm of things may not be the answer. The bureaucracy runs deeper, right? The government in Himachal changes every 5 years. I don't know for what strange reason. But if one kind of government creates certain projects, the next one comes in and shuts them off. And that I've seen that happening time and time again. A lot of examples. People and chief ministers are accused of landslides if they've done development in a particular area, which is strange because, it's kind of what you mentioned. There's a process that's followed. A terrain is understood, decided, whether there'd be a tunnel there or whether there'll be, something else there. Then that process happens. And I've seen so many governments change and shuffle, but the bureaucracy is the same. Yeah, you'll have to deal with it. You do aspire to be there one day. So my question is coming from that. Yeah. What is it that Divyansh Thakur brings differently to the table? And 10 years down the line, if you're there...
See, the answer to the first point on why the government keeps on changing is because of dissatisfaction with the people. The people are dissatisfied, that is why they are changing. That's why essentially they are changing governments. And to change things, you've got to have political will. The first thing that you need to do is bring the brilliant minds that have left, the brain drain that has happened, brilliant minds like you, back to Himachal Pradesh, and to have them involved in the form of policy making. What can we do better for the state? Where can we take it from here? And the bureaucracy, it's not like the bureaucracy has never been dealt with before. It's not like it's never been dealt with in other states. Otherwise, if the bureaucracy had such a heavy chokehold on the system, then things might have never happened. Y.S. Parmar did a brilliant job at developing Himachal in an alternative model. That would have never happened. Maybe Shanta Kumar took Himachal in a positive direction. That would have never happened. This is, if a politician cannot control bureaucracy, it is essentially a politician's fault.
Right, but you are the politician 10 years ahead. Yeah, you are at the helm of things.
Yeah.
So
there are a few major problems with Himachal Pradesh. The first one is, of course, drugs. And we've got to take a very heavy-handed action on drugs. Not just, in a lot of the cases, the people that they pick up are consumers. And big suppliers are still running the show. The government, machinery, police people are helping them out. So that needs to be crushed completely with a heavy hand. The second thing that happens is, again, the policy part. Young people from our state have to come back to decide the destiny of their state.
Yeah.
The third thing that happens is to create an economy which is sustainable. We just don't need, we don't just need manufacturing. We need a services-based industry where all this 99% educated youth that we talk about can actually work for a reasonable wage where it is not polluting. All these things are not some lofty ideals which cannot be achieved. Yes, it will take time. Yes, it will, maybe it will be a process which will be long and arduous, but it will happen eventually. If the young people of Himachal Pradesh decide, come together that they want to take their state forward, of course it will happen. But if we keep sitting and we do not question and we acknowledge that, okay, this is the way that things are, this is the status quo, this is how the system works, then the system will never change.
I love your passion with this, and I hope that you're at the helm of things one day and I meet you again and we talk about what you've contributed.
I just want to contribute to Himachal in any way I can.
Yeah.
At the helm of things or without it. I think if my life could be of value to my state, to my nation, that will be more than enough.
Brilliant. It's so fulfilling to see youth thinking like this, and kudos to you. But rhetorically speaking, you are sitting in Chandigarh and you're not in Himachal. Yeah. You're doing your PhD here. So is it because you feel that there's a lack of available options in Himachal? Is that why you're here?
That's not the case. I tend to cycle between Himachal and Chandigarh. So whenever I am needed here for my PhD work, I am here. The rest of the time I spend in Himachal, in Hamirpur, in Shimla. So in Kulu, in other places. So I frequent between the places. I am required to be here because of my PhD.
That's my point. So you feel that there's not sufficient places in Himachal where you can actually go ahead and get a good education? Is that another area for development?
Of course, the degree that I'm doing, anthropology, there's no university in Himachal Pradesh that offers that course. Otherwise, it would have been great to just do it back at HPU. Why not? But the problem again is, we've talked about it before, when it comes to education, when it comes to healthcare, for instance. I was reading a news kuch din pehle that an old man, because the PWD did not clear the road of snow, died on the way on a stretcher. I think it was in Mandi itself. I believe it was Siraja. I don't know. But that happened. And when that is still happening, to have resilience is great. But to only be resilient and to not change things is disastrous.
Yeah. Wake up is what you're saying.
Wake up. Smell the coffee.
How do you pick up what issues? Because there's so many to be taken up.
I wish I had a long-winded answer to this and there was a system or a process to it. But I believe the things that make me feel like this is going to be...
There's no mantra ki...
There's no mantra ki kaise hoga. I just pick up issues which I think will be pertinent to development or perhaps which would be disastrous for Himachal Pradesh. I wish there was a system or a philosophy that I could give you, but no.
And I was asking for tricks and, because I see your online following and it's great to see that. Specifically because you're a voice of reason for me when I look at your videos. It makes a lot of sense. And I don't see that kind of content very frequently. Yes, people have woken up. If you do get into politics one day, do you have a party in mind that you feel that you will probably be, your thought process would match most with?
I don't have a party in mind.
No?
I think whatever will help me serve the people of Himachal. I think the political path that I will eventually take will be one that serves the people of Himachal in a manner where I see that this will do good for the people of Himachal. So I don't have anything like that in mind.
ऐसा नहीं कोई party politics नहीं है. Have you never joined a particular political party?
We were in student wings here, which I contested for the president with.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm not...
President for?
Punjab University Student Council.
Oh, nice.
So Punjab University has 17,000 odd voters. It's a big election. Smaller than Delhi University, but I think in this 3 states, it's the biggest election of any student council. And I happen to be one of the 4 Himachali students in the long history of Punjab University to have contested the Punjab University election.
Nice. But don't you think you'll have to think about which party's philosophy makes most sense to you as you, kind of grow into it more?
I think my philosophy at the point of time is Himachal first. That is the only philosophy I need.
Nice. So this election that you're talking about, did you win it?
No, I lost it. I lost it by, I think it was a margin of 600 votes.
600.
So
So
I think
300 here or there would have made
Yeah.
a difference, yeah?
So it was close. I was the runner-up. I lost that election, and I think that was quite the learning experience.
Yeah? What did the loss teach you?
Humility.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So now
And
you're not fighting
perseverance
any.
and
Sorry?
grit. And perseverance and grit.
Yes.
No, you can't fight university elections twice. I ran for the president in 2023. So that's been 3 odd years. So after that, I've been actively, I'm not associated with any student wing at the point. I'm just doing this for
Himachal.
For Himachal, yes.
Brilliant. And I am so happy that somebody's taking the baton. I think this is something that has been missing and you're kind of plugging that gap, and I love your leap of faith that you're taking. May it take you places. I have one more game for you. Okay, we'll call this the personality reveal. I'm going to give you some choices. And you're going to take one out of the two and tell me why. Yeah?
Okay, sure.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Protest or policy drafting? Now you can't take both.
Policy drafting.
Yeah?
Yeah. When you're at the policy table and you're writing it out and you're prescribing the manner in which it is supposed to be executed, then you have more influence over how people's lives are affected.
And also, if you're not being involved, like the Chhatra Sangatans are not being allowed to conduct elections, then I think the protest will eventually lead to you getting a seat at the table for policy drafting, no?
I don't know if I don't protest for a seat at the policy table. I protest because things are going wrong. And that is essentially what a protest is for. But I chose policy because, again, policy impacts so many people's lives, and you only have to protest when the policy goes wrong.
True. Ecology or industrialization?
Ecology.
Any day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Without
we don't have to
question.
explain
Without
that at all.
We're from Himachal.
Yeah.
I don't think we've got to
Look at what has happened to our hills in 2025 floods, flash floods.
How many people did we lose this time around?
Yeah, a lot.
I think it was more than 300.
A lot.
I think that's more than a small skirmish or a small war kills.
Yeah.
Or maybe somewhere
Plane
around
crash.
that ballpark.
Yeah.
And then, see, if something like this were to happen in Delhi, 300 people would have died in Delhi. The media would have gone all gung-ho about it. The media would have gone crazy that 300 people have died. What is happening? Where's the accountability? If it happens in the margins, if it happens in the hills, then nobody really spoke about it. That is why I'm talking about the resilience and the silence here.
Yeah.
300 people is a lot of people.
See, these things have happened in the past as well, and I understand that a lack of resources or the lack of right ways of making roads to create those resources is kind of leading to it. Overdevelopment of places. I think there's some policy level decisions which are needed to be made by the government when they're doing. They should review every project, every road project that's currently, being done across. Viral reel or white paper?
White paper.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You'd prefer that?
Yeah.
But you're there on Instagram all the time. You're on reels.
I'm there because I need to be. I'm there because I want to speak to the people. But I think I'm more of a white paper person.
Yeah? When are you submitting your PhD?
In about a year and a half.
Good.
I'll be done with my thesis.
Good. But if you love doing that,
Back
then...
to Himachal.
Yeah, then back to Himachal. Yeah, nice. Superb. Emotional speech or data debate?
Data debate.
Not an emotional speech. Do you think emotions work more in Himachal's politics?
I don't think I want to exploit people's emotions for a speech. I don't want to be emotionally manipulative through a speech. But if the data speaks for it, then the data speaks for it. If 300 people have lost their lives, it's going to turn any thinking Himachali into an emotional mess, into any rational being into an emotional mess. That does not mean that I exploit people's emotions for it. So no, data driven.
But I think to a large extent, the Himachal politics, the way I see it is that it's a lot of emotional exploitation of promises that are made to people and not fulfilled.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah?
It is. That is the current state of affairs.
Right.
That needs to go.
Yeah. Okay, party loyalty or public dissent? I think I know the answer to this one.
Public dissent.
Yeah, if you've not seen his Instagram reels, I'll leave the link right here, and I'll also add it to the description of the YouTube video so that you can actually see how passionately Divyansh speaks about Himachal and protecting what we have in the Devbhumi. I understand the social media activism, right? But do you believe it's also perceived as an illusion by a lot of people?
It is not social media activism. Social media activism would be to just put the word out there and to not follow through with it.
And you're following
We're
through.
following through with everything.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong even with the people who do social media activism.
Mhm.
At least they're not doing nothing. At least we're following through, yes. But the people who are only doing social media activism, at least they're voicing their concerns.
Yeah.
So I
Educating,
think nothing
right?
wrong with that.
Yeah. You followed through with the organization that you mentioned, Himachal Raksha Manch. How can people connect more with you, and how can people join Himachal Raksha Manch? What is it exactly, and how is it driven?
We stand for the culture of Himachal Pradesh. We stand for our roots. And we're not against development. We're against development that is happening in a manner where it is disastrous. We are all for sustainable development. We're all for young, intelligent people to come forward and to present their dissent and the ways that they can make these things go right. And if somebody wants to reach out, of course they can call me. My number is available on the public websites. Also, my email ID is there on my Instagram, or you can just send me, as the time is, an Instagram DM or something. So,
Is there an organization, office?
no, we don't
things,
have an office.
groups?
We don't have an office. We're groups. We're based in Punjab University as of now. And because a lot of Himachali young people, students are in Punjab University and colleges affiliated to Punjab University. So that's where a lot of it is based. So we don't have an office space. And I don't think we're going to
It's not needed also,
I
right?
don't
Yeah.
need it.
So 200 people you said are part of the
yeah.
group. 201 now. Yeah, so make sure you add
Thank
me
you.
right away.
Done.
Right?
Consider
I
it
do
done.
want to, yeah, definitely. I want to kind of talk about it, spread the word. And it's brilliant what you're doing. What kind of a chief minister do you think Himachal needs? Elections are coming in 2027.
I think we need another Dr. Y.S. Parmar. We need somebody who's conversational with the aspects of science, development, policy, and the direction that the state needs to go, yet at the same time rooted in the culture of the place.
Yeah.
And not somebody who's like an industry plant. We need people who come from the place, who understand the place, and they know where to take the place.
You're so close to Himachal's politics, so I'm going to put you on a spot and ask you, out of the current politicians, who will be the best? 2027. Let's hear it from a youth leader now.
I think we need a change.
Change?
I think
All
we
of the
need-
leaders?
I think we need somebody else
Yeah?
at the helm, yes. Somebody new needs to come along.
Yeah. So none of the ones who are
No,
currently
no,
involved or who potentially are the
No.
political faces?
No, we
No?
need new people.
Are you like safeguarding your political interests for future?
Why would I?
Like being like not naming anybody?
No, and just generally.
Keeping both parties happy?
No, I just generally think that none of the current lot. That wouldn't keep both parties happy, would it? None of the current lot.
It'll annoy both the parties, you know?
But if I take one,
Yeah.
yeah,
It'll annoy the other.
isn't it worse if I say that nobody is capable of being the next chief minister?
Yeah, that's what you just said. Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it worse?
It's a big statement to make. All right, but I think what you mean is that we need youth to kind of, maybe get in more in politics.
We need people. Yeah, we need youth to get in more into politics, and we need people who are smarter. We need people who are more fluent and conversational with the backdoors of policy and bureaucracy and all that. But we need another Dr. Y.S. Parmar for Himachal Pradesh to take it forward in a direction, because we've been derailed for so long that there have been things which have been good in the state. Let's not say that no government has done any work in the past. That's absolutely wrong. We've got great human development index indicators. We've got great literacy. We've done so. I think our height has overall increased. We've done very well on PDS, public distribution systems. But these have been achievements over a very long period of Himachal's history. But now we need to go forward and be proud of Himachal Pradesh for the development of Himachal Pradesh.
If I was to be in that position, I think I want
You'd
to.
be a great chief minister.
Huh? Are
Yeah.
No, I have not thought about politics. But if I were to be in that position, I think I would want to first task I would want to pick up would be to bring people back.
Hmm.
Bring people back, attract them or keep them there first,
That is
It's kind of like the drain
that's the dream.
Yeah?
That's the dream.
That is the dream for you?
That is the dream for all of us. Because again, but then how do you bring these people back is the question. You bring these people back by offering them an opportunity to live and an opportunity to sustain themselves. And that only happens when we develop our education better.
So we need to have universities.
Universities, hospitals, schools, colleges, yes. But we also need service-based industry. We need to have infrastructure around our tourism, better urban development infrastructure around tourism. And we also need people to actually come back and do jobs. When people are coming in from outside to work from the hills, why can't we have our own people working from the hills?
Yeah.
It's like work from home.
I just want to say that that's what a voice with responsibility looks like, so you can take a look at
You've
it.
been too kind.
Yeah. I am going to have a pokey question, I'm like a bada bhai also for you. What's the plan for future? Marriage, life, etc.
No plans for marriage.
Yeah?
मेरे खानदान में वैसे भी शादियां बहुत लेट होती हैं. No plans for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah? So anybody following Divyansh because of passion towards him, please, you have to wait for 5 or 6 years, yeah? So not taking proposals also, is it?
Not taking proposals.
Yeah. Sorry for some of you. Or you have to wait.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Thanks so much, for giving me so much time, and I really appreciate all the work that you're doing. And thank you for being that explaining person from Himachal who educates, other people all around through these amazing videos as well that you're making. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the conversation.
I really did. It's been fun. Should I do the CTA? Please subscribe to the JOAAT-Cast, the Jack of all artistic trades podcast. It's been phenomenal, and I believe people like him can do such wonders for the state of Himachal Pradesh. We need a lot more people like him coming back in and to start putting their voices out.
Thank you once again, Divyansh, for taking out time and explaining to me why this voice matters and why you do what you do. And I wish you all the best for your future. And I hope that one fine day both of us can sit together and discuss how amazing our infrastructure has become and how responsible our leadership has become in Himachal.
Absolutely. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having me here.
So that's the wrap on this JOAAT-Cast. I'll see you next time with yet another story. Bye.